Russian President Vladimir Putin cranking up the heat over the possibility of a World War III once again. This coming after a report of a Ukrainian drone attack on a Kremlin building in Moscow.
So much to break down with this story. Joining us now for a reaction is former CIA intelligence officer and author of Putin's playbook, Russia's Secret Plan to Defeat America, Rebekah Koffler, and senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute and Newsmax contributor, Fred Fleitz. Rebekah, I'll start off with you. How seriously are you taking the threat of nuclear weapons? You know, you never know what Putin will do. He's a deranged individual. I think we can all agree on that. He's a deranged, evil maniac. And it is frightening to think that we could have another World War III on our hands.
While I dispute the notion that Putin is a deranged individual,
really?
He's very rational. Yes, absolutely. I mean,
you don't think he's evil? You don't think he's an evil person?
Of course he's an evil person, but he's not deranged. He's not deranged at all. He's very calculated. He's a cold-blooded, typical KGB officer. Yes, I do take the notion of Putin's potential use of nuclear weapons during the war in Ukraine very, very seriously. As a senior intelligence officer for Russian doctrine and strategy back in the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is a military counterpart to CIA, we conducted multiple war games of Russia-US war escalating out of a regional war, such as the one that is in Ukraine. Every single war game ended up in a nuclear war. So I take it very seriously, and this is why this so-called drone attack to assassinate Putin, which is a classic Russian false flag operation, is potentially laying the groundwork, allowing the justification for Putin to ratchet up this war into the next rung on the escalation ladder, which may include a nuclear exchange.
Well, that is some strong language, and I can't say that I disagree very much, but I'm going to, hope. I think most of the world is hoping that he does not go there. I'm hoping maybe China can put the Kremlin in check a little bit.
That's
because
sad
China's,
that we're depending on China.
Well, China is probably the only country that has any sway. I'm going to go to Fred here. The Ukraine's denied these allegations, and now, Putin is claiming the United States has actually planned the drone attack. Let's just take a listen to John Kirby's response.
Do you expect to ever be in a position to be able to confirm whether this drone attack took place or not? Okay.
I guess we're not going to listen to his response, Fred. You could see him shirk there. What do you make of this?
Well, this is a really reckless and clumsy attack, and I talked to another journalist in Washington who said this was definitely not an assassination attempt unless it was conducted by fools. The Ukrainian government, they're not made up of fools. Zelensky would not have put something together so sloppy. I agree with Rebekah. This looks like a false flag attack. But I'll tell you, people around the world, they think the U.S. may be behind it. I did an interview on a Middle East network last week. They did a poll during the interview. Over 80% of the viewers thought the U.S. was behind it. I think that goes to the fact that we've had very poor leadership by this administration, and Joe Biden's messaging has been terrible. He's not been leading on the world stage. That really makes it very dangerous.
Rebekah, we just heard Michael talk about it before, and you've been in Ukraine, and we've seen China kind of step out on the world stage, kind of occupying that vacuum left by the United States. Do you actually think that Putin and Xi could I personally don't think that Xi has any kind of good intentions.
Oh, I don't think he has good intentions
at all. I don't even think he really wants to end this war. Rebekah, what do you think about China's role in this?
China does not want to end this war. This is another disinformation operation, this time conducted by China. They want to convince the rest of the world that China has peaceful intentions, but all that China wants is to prolong this conflict for as long as possible. Why? It's because China is sitting and watching how two of its top geopolitical adversaries, Russia and the United States, are depleting their respective combat arsenals by flowing that weaponry into Ukraine. look, we have already spent an equivalent of entire gross domestic product of Ukraine for 2021, pumping in weaponry, and that hasn't done a darn thing. And so China is just sitting there and really enjoying the show.
Fred, we only have about 30 seconds left. I don't think that China has good intentions. I don't think that they want peace either. I just think that it behooves China not to let, to the best of their ability, Russia go nuclear. What do you think about that? I think they do want this. They want a protracted war. They win on both sides. The United States depleting its arsenal, Russia becoming weaker. They play alleged peacemaker in the middle. 30 seconds to you.
No, I disagree with Rebekah. I think China would like this war to end. It doesn't want to see its ally, Russia, being worn down. It's bad for the Chinese economy. It wants the war to end so the U.S. does not win. And I worry that a Chinese calculus to end this conflict would give it huge economic advantages. But I do think that President Xi disapproves of this war. He'd like to see it over.
Oh, very interesting there. Rebekah Koffler and Fred Fleitz, thank you so much.